Good morning, everybody, and welcome back to episode 7 of Sleepover at Your Mom's. How is everybody doing on this rainy-ass Tuesday? If you're here at the beach on vacation, I apologize because today is just shit. I mean, the sun will come out for a minute and then the rain pours. And I mean, it is just an absolute downpour. Oh, guys, what's going on today? Me, I am dragging ass. All morning I have been dragging ass. Last night I had to go for a birthday party. My girlfriend's brother had a birthday last night, and I went out with them and some other friends. And I don't know how many bottles of wine they ordered, but today I am dragging. Quick tip, if you plan on drinking or if you did drink, take your 800 milligrams of ibuprofen before you go to bed. You wake up feeling a lot better. Oh, but hey, I could have said no. I could have stopped, but hey, it was a party. It was a party. It was a lot of fun. I hope you guys had a good time on your Monday evening. You know, one thing I was thinking about yesterday, I noticed a post on, I think it was on Facebook yesterday, somebody had posted, and the post was basically concluding that, you know, every problem in the world was the fault of the U.S. government. Okay, I'm going to tell you, this podcast, we're not ever going to talk politics. It's just, I don't know enough about it to talk about it. And, you know, to me, it's one of those things, a person can be a good person when they get into politics, maybe at a lower level, maybe. But I think eventually it all comes down to, how does it benefit them? Because, for example, when I lived in Louisville, there had been a long time standing mayor of Louisville, and, you know, he decided he was moving up to something else in politics. So it was really the first time that there was a race in Louisville in many years. And the guy that ended up ultimately winning, I forget how many $1 million of his own money he invested. Now, I don't remember exactly what the salary for the mayor of Louisville was for a year. I mean, it was not more than $250,000. And okay, I mean, if you're like me, $250,000, hey, maybe that's $250,000. I mean, I'd be all about making $250,000 a year. But this is what I found ironic. That was his salary, but yet, I mean, I want to say he spent $4 or $5 million. $4 or $5 million in his campaign just to get this. Okay. So, by my math, I mean, he would have to hold that job for 16 to 20 years to even break even. Why would you do that? Well, I mean, hey, if you're going down to the Walmart to apply for that job as the greeter, I mean, you know, does Walmart even still have greeters? You know, I don't know. I don't go to Walmart. I don't have one close. But I mean, I've been in one a couple of times since I've been here, but I don't remember the greeter. I mean, because the greeter was always stand out. But anyway, let's say that Walmart still does have that greeter job, and you're going down there and, you know, I'm here to apply for the job as a greeter. Hello, how you doing? How's them kids doing? Everybody okay? You know, but they tell you they're going to pay you, I don't know what a greeter makes. They're going to pay you $30,000 a year to be the greeter. But here's the catch. There's another old gal, she wants to be the greeter. I mean, Lucinda comes rolling in and Lucinda's got her hover around mobility chair. I mean, I don't think Lucinda needs it. I just think she's in it because, well, Lucinda's a big gal. And I know I'm going bouncing all over, but I mean, that's something else. At the grocery stores, when you go, they have the mobility chairs now. And, every once in a while, I'm shocked. I see somebody come in and, they've got a cast on their whole leg. I mean, they've got cast from ankle plumb up to ass. And, they come in on their crutches and they sit down in the chair and they shop. Okay, I am almost positive somebody in some type of situation as that is what it was intended for. But again, I'm afraid to say if people came in like that, there's a good chance they're not going to find the mobility chair. Because all you got to do if you want to find the mobility chairs, you go to the snack aisle. Go to the snack aisle, and if you look down like where the Oreos, the Reese Cups, the potato chips, anywhere where there's some heavy starchy foods, that's where you find all the little mobility chairs. And I do say little mobility chairs because when you're talking in scale about the people that are riding on them, the chairs look little. They look really little. And I mean, we create so many problems for ourselves. I mean, that's an example. I mean, you take a country like the U.S. where, I mean, we have an obesity problem here. But a lot of it is because of lifestyle. I mean, if you go to somewhere like Sweden, or take Miami Beach, for example. Many of us that live here, you don't have a car. You don't need a car. I mean, you can't live in South Beach and need a car. I mean, unless you're traveling long. I mean, no. I mean, really. I mean, a few people, but I mean, most people don't have a need for one at all, but they still have it. But anyway, when you don't have that deal, you walk. I ride a skateboard a lot of places. I take a bicycle. When you do things like that, and especially when you live in a climate such as this, you're more prone to be outside to do things. Some people, not all, but some. But you take, Sweden, they ride bicycles and walk everywhere. I mean, and they're all normally proportioned. But again, for some reason in this country, we like to create problems. I mean, I love this country. I love my country. But I mean, first world problems, people. First world problems. But back to the Post. One of the things they were complaining about is now the government has made the cost of living so expensive. The cost of living is so expensive that, the husband has to work, the wife has to work. And, they named all of these problems. People, come on. Stop just a minute. If you're relatively close to my age, I mean, let's say, God, I even want to say if you're, mid-30s, think back to your grandparents. I mean, if you were lucky enough to have them. Some people, I get it. They fly solo pretty much their whole life. And God, those people have to be strong. I mean, they say it takes a village to raise an idiot. I mean, maybe that's because the village makes the people the idiot. And the people, people are strong. They adapt, they overcome. But, okay, think back to your grandparents. Okay, my grandparents were the people, I think statistics, I forget when it was, maybe the 50s, maybe the late 50s. People had 8 changes of clothes. They had 8 outfits. Total, 8 outfits. They had what they wore to work. They had what they wore on Saturday. They had what they wore to church on Sunday. I mean, that was the way it was. They had 8 outfits and probably 2 pair of shoes. 2 pair of shoes. Okay, they didn't have to pay for cable. They didn't have to pay for a cell phone. They didn't have to pay for their kids a cell phone. They didn't have to pay for, think about all of the stuff we pay out each and every month that they didn't pay out back then. Okay, and don't stop there. I mean, most everybody I knew, their grandparents back in the day, houses were smaller. Houses were designed to accommodate the family that lived there. And sometimes, brothers and sisters shared a bedroom. Now when people buy a house, they have to have enough bedrooms for every kid they think they might have in their life, plus all the possible family that can come over to visit. Guys, let me tell you, that is not a good strategy. Not ever, not for anybody. It's best to have the house that you need. You just have the house you need. When you go to visit family, you can afford to stay in the hotel for a few nights. Because the family you're going to visit, they ain't got room for you neither. Now, they love you, and they love you dearly, but maybe that hotel's a good idea. But you've got money for it because you ain't paying out 5 times what you need on a house. You're living where you need. And I have lived in this same situation, for the largest portion of my life that I'm talking about. But several years back, in a relationship, me and her, we go to Mexico. We go to an island in Mexico, Isla Mujeres. If you've never been, it's a wonderful place. I love it. But we go there, and instantly fall in love with the island, with the people, and really with the way of life, because it was laid back. We both had very high stress jobs, and so it made living there, like, it was amazing. And we end up one night, about halfway through the vacation, we meet this girl, and she actually comes up to us, and we had rented a golf cart for the week. She comes up to us on the golf cart in a British accent, which, God, I find so sexy. But anyway, not the point. She comes up to us and says, "Hey, are you guys going back into downtown?" Okay, now understand, this island is 5 miles long at its longest point. We were at mid-island. Downtown is at the very north end of the island. And because she said, "I just got off work and I normally ride my bicycle. But today it was raining when I left the house, so I took a taxi, and if you guys were going back downtown, I didn't want to have to pay for a cab." Well, we told her, we're not staying downtown, because we were actually staying in Center Island where the locals lived. You could go get a nice 1-bedroom apartment and rent it for the week. I think now still it's right at $400 a week. And you walk 5 feet and you're in the sand. It's amazing. It's cheap, but it's not down in the little commercialized part. But anyway, we ended up taking the girl down there because, hell, we wasn't doing anything but riding around anyway. So while we're taking her down there, we find out that she was from London, and she came to Isla Mujeres with a group of friends on vacation, 5 months prior, 6 months prior. And she loved it so much, they spent their 2-week holiday, and after their vacation was over, she went back to London, sold everything she had, quit her job, and took what she had, and she moved there. She moved there. She was living in a hostel, which was, we saw it. The rooms were nice. It was a place they were having a party, but it was cheap. It was even cheaper than what we were paying, and we were paying something crazy cheap. But anyway, she worked as a server at one of the restaurants. And I mean, you could tell by looking at this girl, she was not a server in London. Not that there's anything wrong with a server. I've been a server. Hell, I may need to go serve next week. I don't know. And if I do, wonderful. It's great, fun, honest work. But I'm just saying, I don't think that her job in London was a server. And I know it wasn't. She was a marketing agent. But for her, kind of like me, she saw something different there and something that would put her life in balance. Now, she had to give up many things of her first world problem life to move to an island in a third world country. Because don't be a victim. I mean, I've been guilty of being a victim plenty in my life, but anymore, I don't try to be a victim. I mean, don't blame the government because you live in a house that's bigger than what you need. Don't blame the government because you have 5 cell phones on your plan. And I mean, I'm not saying that your kids shouldn't have a cell phone, or they should. I mean, mine had one. God, I was one of the worst. I think I got mine real early. But the thing is, if you're going to have it, don't complain. For example, I mean, cell phones were not around when I was a kid, but if they were, I still don't think I would have had one. I mean, I think for $9 a month, or maybe it was $5 a month, my parents could have added a second phone line to our house where, when my girlfriends would call, and as my mom would say, we would sit on the phone and listen to each other breathe. I could have had my own phone number. I could have had my name in the book. That big ass. My name would have been in there, and children. But no, they wasn't going for that. I mean, for many years, we had the good old party line. Now, I like the party line days, especially my aunt that lived in front of me. She had the party line, but she had it with a lady lived down the street, Miss Dixon. And Miss Dixon was one of those, she was very animated. She was just so different from all of the other, country women that I was around. I mean, she let the curse words fly. And I mean, everybody called her crazy. And hell, we're all a little crazy, but I don't know if she was actually crazy or if she was just so different because, all the women in my family, they were the Cleavers. I mean, they were all Miss Cleaver. I mean, my mom was Miss Cleaver. I mean, I don't cuss in front of my mother. I mean, it's everything very straight-laced, very loving, but, very different. Miss Dixon, she'd just let the shit fly. I mean, she would be talking. I mean, and Miss Dixon ended up, I think it was when I was in my second year of school, second grade, first grade. One of her cousins had moved from Arkansas, I believe. Ricky Moore. Ricky, if you're out there, if you ever listen, buddy, I hope you're doing wonderful. But I mean, in first grade, now, people thought Ricky liked to tell these tall tales, and I mean, maybe, hell, I know they were tall tales. In second grade, Ricky jumped Boone Lake on a tricycle. Now, I don't know if it was one of the good ones, like the Radio Flyer, the red one with the white spoke wheels or not. But I mean, nevertheless, it was a fucking tricycle. I mean, jump Boone Lake. I mean, now I think, maybe last year, from what I heard, I mean, if you don't know, Boone Lake is a lake dammed by the, for power, a hydroelectric simulator place. But it's not really a lake, it's a reservoir. But anyway, at Boone Lake, before it dried up, or if it still is dried up, it was wide. I mean, but Ricky jumped this on a tricycle. I mean, I think even in second grade, maybe his old Jimmy, I mean, he was pretty good at drawing the funny cartoons. I think he had a picture, Ricky, wah! I mean, he's on the tricycle just getting it across, but I mean, he must have had to roll from the top of Bays Mountain to get any speed. But I mean, they must have had that tricycle ripped, but oh, Ricky. But I hope you're doing good. But anyway, we have so many bills, so many things we create, and and we say that we need them. Guys, if you find yourself in a situation you're not happy, I mean, first, somebody else can't make you happy. You have to be happy with yourself. But, if you want to make a plan with somebody to move to an island in Mexico, well, see, the difference between she and my mindset was, I wanted to move to this island and I wanted to live the life these people were living. Because these people would be on the equivalent of what you could get here for a couple of $200-300, a used Chinese scooter, and they would be riding 4 abreast on this bitch. I ain't kidding you. Daddy in the front, mama on the back, and sometimes holding 2 babies, and got a hold of daddy's shirt like this with the babies in there. Now, she ain't dropping them babies. I mean, they ain't going fast. But you look at their faces, they are smiling at the biggest smile you ever seen. But the difference between she and I wanted to go there and live that life. They didn't have a whole lot, but they were happy. She wanted to go there and, buy one of the big Americanized houses, the few of them that they had, that were overlooking the ocean. And I mean, yes, God Almighty, yes. I mean, I want to be able to wake up every day and open my eye and see the ocean outside my bedroom window. But if I'm on an island that is only a half a mile wide and 5 miles long and not a whole lot of traffic, I can live anywhere on that island and be happy. Anywhere, because I can walk. I can walk to that ocean easily. But guys, it's about wants, it's about needs. But just, sometimes just check yourself. Check yourself and see, do you really need this? Do you really need all that? I mean, we have too much shit. As a group of people, we have way too much shit. And, if you have all that shit and you pay for it every day and you're happy about it, then more power to you. I love you. I'm happy for you. But if you've got all that shit and you still find yourself maybe a little empty, maybe get rid of it. Maybe get rid of a lot of the shit. And it can help you concentrate on other things in life, like your ABCs. Guys, have a good one. That's all for me. I'm out of here.